Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. So I hope that you all are doing extremely well. So today we have a new guest on our channel. Well, I guess most of you must already be knowing about her. So she is Amritanjali. Today on our channel, she'll be sharing what are the prerequisites, what are the important requirements that you should have with you that is needed to get into a product-based company. So regarding to that, I'll be putting up some questions that most of you must be having in your mind, and she's going to answer them. So thank you so much, Amritanji, first of all, to accept my invitation and coming on our channel. It is great to have you here. So you can start with your introduction.
Yeah. So thank you so much for inviting me. And I just want to introduce myself. I want to give my quick introduction. So currently I'm working as a SWE at Microsoft, and previously I worked at Walmart, and previous to that I worked at NCR Corporation as a 6-month intern. And all of these three companies are a product-based company. And currently I'm running a 2 YouTube channel. First is the Amritanjali, name of that channel is Amritanjali, and second channel is Think Like a Coder. So in this channel I used to make DSA related stuff and guidance related stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
So
So guys,
that's
you
all
can
about
just
me.
check out these channels. Definitely these channels will be helpful for you if you're preparing for product-based companies. So yeah, you can just check them out. Amritanjali, so before proceeding further, let me have a request for the audience that please make sure to subscribe our channel if you haven't subscribed our channel till now. Definitely, we are continuously putting lots of content for you, and make sure to join our Telegram community as well. The link for the Telegram channel is given in the description itself. So yeah, Amritanjali, as you mentioned so many things about yourself, and I think that you have all the things, like you have worked in these many product-based companies, so you are having proper idea regarding like what should a fresher should be having, like whether it's a proper DSA knowledge, projects, internship, and so many questions we are having in our mind and our audience is having in our mind. So let's start with our first question. um let's come to the DSA part first. So how much knowledge of DSA is needed for a fresher to get into this product based company according to you?
So if you say that product-based company, then we have a range of product-based company.
Mhm.
Some company ask easy questions, some company ask medium level questions, some company ask really hard question. So I think we should always give our best and we should prepare for the hard company. So of course, if you will be able to clear the online test and interview of the company that is asking hard question, then you will be able to clear those interview also which ask easy and medium question. So what I will suggest you, if you are having time, like if you are having a 3 month time, 2 month time, so better to prepare for easy medium part. But if you are having at least 1 year time or 6 month time is also enough, then you should always give your best so that you can clear the hard like the company which ask hard question like Google, you can say media.net, Microsoft, this kind of company, and you need a hard level or medium to hard level DSA knowledge. So I think you should prepare for the hard. Of course, if you will hope for the best, then of course we will get better.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, I think
Okay. So if someone is starting from scratch, so how you would suggest, like how he or she can start learning the things, because like everything should be in an organized manner. Directly a beginner cannot jump to the tree or graph part. So please mention the resources as well that they can follow.
so first thing I just want to say that learn each and every algorithm perfectly. Like you can say that some people just say that I know this algorithm, and if I will ask some question like what is the time complexity, what is the worst case time complexity of this algorithm, then that person get stuck on that. So I think first of all we should learn each and every algorithm perfectly, and there are lots of platform for this like Gigs for Gigs, LeetCode, and you can also prefer a CP algorithm. This is a site, and
Yes.
mostly competitive programmers follow this site. But I personally believe that this site is really good.
Okay.
So yes, so first of all, we should learn all those algorithms, and then after. Like if I am learning something like sorting, then we should solve around 20 question of sorting. So first there is two phase of preparing. First is what you are preparing while learning any algorithm, like you are learning sorting and you are solving some question related to sorting. And the second phase is that at this point of age you know all those algorithm and now you are doing practice. So here I will recommend you to do as much practice as you can, irrespective of topic. Like don't filter any question on the basis of topic, because what happens if you will filter any question on the basis of topic, like it's a sorting, then your mind will already guess that yeah, this question belongs to sorting, so I have to think about merge sort. So there is two phase of preparation. First phase where you are learning any algorithm. At that point of time, sort those question on the basis of topic and solve around 10 to 20 questions from each topic. And after that, without sorting any algorithm on the basis of topics, just start solving lots of questions. Solve top 100 light question at LeetCode. This is very important. And we should always solve question like all the standard question. What happens if you know a standard question, then most probably interviewer or in online test question will be framed on the basis of that question. So try to solve all those standard questions. And let's say you are solving some question like buy and sell stock 1, then try to solve buy and sell stock 2, 3, 4 all in one go. Why I'm saying that? What happens in most of my interviewer first ask first question, and if I can able to solve this question within 15 minutes, then they will ask the second question that will be related to the first question. So that's why I will recommend you to solve all these related question in one go.
Okay, got it. Thanks for mentioning that. And the point you mentioned, like when you are clear with all the concepts, so obviously, if you are sorting the topics, if you are sorting the questions on the basis of a particular topic, then we already know that okay, this here we have to use sorting or any other approach, right? But when randomly a question comes up, and if you are able to figure out that which algorithm should be fitted here, like all these things, so it is basically going to analyze your problem solving skills. Okay, so like DSA CP, this thing is going on. So what's your point on that part? Like CP is important to get into product based company. Is it a requirement?
CP is recommended, not must to do. Like let's say I am giving an example. You can easily crack Amazon online test and interview without doing any CP, but you will get some problem if you are trying to prepare for Google. I'm not saying that a person who have done only DSA will not be able to clear the Google interview and Google test. Of course they can, but if you will do CP, then this will increase your probability of solving question, especially during online test. So CP is something like, I just consider that you are learning DSA, you are learning some algorithm, and you are practicing some question related to that algorithm. And CP is something like mix of algorithm and some logical thinking. And some, you can say, some advanced level of logical thinking. Some people consider that the advanced level of all algorithm belongs to CP. I'm not saying that. Even if you will not do such advanced level of algorithm, still you will be able to solve ABC question at fourth course if you are good in logical ability. So I'm not saying that you will just become a 5-star candidate master. Yes, if you can, then it will be a best, but try to solve question during the contest of different online platform like Coursera, Course. Rating is not important, but practicing CP question during the test is important.
Okay, so like what you mentioned, so from this we can conclude that okay, CP is not a requirement, but if you are having the interest in the same, and definitely it can be an advantage for you, then go for CP. Okay, so next question we have regarding the projects. Like most of the students are having doubt what kind of project they should do put in their resume, because mainly their resume is not getting shortlisted. So what sort of projects they can made and they can put in their resume to get shortlisted for these companies?
So what I will say for this, like let's say there is if you consider this company as a set, then you can say that 99% or 90% company hire for software developer role. Very few company hire for machine learning and robotics and other blockchain domain. Most of the company hire for software engineering role. So we should always focus on this 90%, because of course if you will focus on this 90%, then your selection probability for your selection will be high. And even if you are having interest in machine learning, then first join any company as a software engineer, work for 1 and 2 years, and then you can switch to the machine learning team. So that's why I will recommend you to make a project related to development, like Mon stack, Min stack. You can consider any of these stack, but I will recommend you React, because this is a very widely used, and I personally think if you are building any project in React, this will be easy for you to build. And we should focus on the designing of project, not the complexity. And if you will use Angular, then this your project will become a little complex. But if you are not using a perfect design, then this is no use. So I think you should make any project related to React Node, and this kind of technology, and develop and your project should be little unique. Not I'm not saying that you develop a very advanced project like Netflix, you are developing a new Netflix, but you should make a project that is solving some real life problem. So I will recommend you to do this. And you can participate in different hackathon. What happens, participating in hackathon, you will get a real life project of any company. And if you are solving if you are working on the real life uh, problem of any company, then this will be of course a good idea and good project idea, you can say. So yeah, I will recommend you to join and to do any hackathon, and to participate in any hackathon, or make one good project, not make lots of good project, but you should make one good project.
Okay, so what matters is not a number of projects, but if you have done only one project, so that would even work, but it should be a good one, a unique one, solving a real life problem or so. Got your point. Okay, so Amritanjali, what do you think? What is the contribution of the internship that you have done for you to get placed, and of course for you to get shortlisted? Even, like most of the times our students are not even getting shortlisted. So is it required? It is required for a student to do at least one internship to get shortlisted or to get opportunity for these companies?
So if you have done any internship, then this will definitely improve your resume. But what I'm seeing that lots of students are not able to get the internship. Mostly they belong to tier 3 college like me, and they can't able to get any internship. So don't worry. If even if you are not got any internship, then also you can get a good off campus job from any company. But if you are getting some internship, then don't let them go. You should join. And I this is my personal experience. We should not do unpaid internship. Like what happens if, let's say, there is a company and which providing you around let's say some range of CTC which you can easily get without doing even internship, then don't join that company. If you are doing internship at that company and their package and their work is your dream package, then only do that internship. Because in the same time you can practice for DSA, and of course this will improve your DSA skill, and that will help you to clear online test. The most important thing is that most of the students can't able to clear the online test. Don't underestimate this thing. So we should focus on this. First of all, you should clear online test, and for this you have to prepare for DSA.
Okay, got your point. So what we can say is doing internship is not mandatory, and generally these companies is focusing on DSA part. So if you are good at it, if you are having a good profile, so like as on Lead Code or other handles as well, other coding handles as well, so probably your chances for getting shortlisted will increase, right? So next thing is that, like, for you these opportunities were off campus, right?
Yes, all are from off campus.
So how did you apply for the same? Like, did you reach out to the people for referral, or you applied from the career page itself? Like, please let us know about this as
Actually, I did all those things that is required to get any off-campus opportunity. Either this is applying like at career page, approaching some senior alumni for referral. I have done lots of things. I like in fact, you can say that even after getting placement, if I am getting some job opening, then I apply for that just for the experience, just for the online, just to get online test, because I like to give online test. I want to be in practice every time. So yes, I applied lots at the different career site, and I contacted my senior for referral, and I participated in different hiring hackathon, like hackathon of Mintra, hackathon of Jita. You can see all, you can see this thing in my YouTube channel. I have uploaded lots of video regarding this. So yes, I have applied. I have done like everything to get an off-campus placement. Either this is hackathon or online test, or applying at career site, contacting senior for referral, and everything. And also sometimes what happens, hacker or platform used to have some
well.
live contest, and from that live contest they used to hire. So I also participated in that contest also. In fact, I got an internship at NCR Corporation through that contest only.
Okay. And what we can see now is that hard work finally paid off. Like, you are doing great, and I can see you're running your own YouTube channel and currently working in a product based company. So it's all because of your hard work. So on this part, I just want to add one thing, guys, that currently if the things are not working for you, that's totally fine. Just keep working. Like, we have the example with us today on our channel. So keep working at, like, not today, so maybe another day, someday you will be getting what you are actually trying for, what you are actually looking for. So yeah, these were some of the questions that most of you must be having in your mind, so we just try to sort them out. At the last, I would like to ask Amritanjali, do you have any tips or anything that you would like to advise to the audience from your side?
Yes, so one thing I just want to advise, like, don't give up. Because what happened, most of the company had off campus in the month of June, July. You can see lots of big, like lots of students from Tier 3 get placed at the month of June, July. This is the end of session. So
Mhm.
always try till the end. Don't give up. Like what happens, most of the students give up when they are not getting placement till the December, till the January. So I can give you guarantee, if you will not give up, then one day you will get succeed.
Great, definitely, I do agree with you on that part. So yeah, now we can end the session. Thank you so much again, Amritanjali, for coming on our channel and having discussion regarding these sessions. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much for having me.